Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And Gemini, we have the Queen of Swords. You know what this is? One of your superpower cards. It's a mutable air energy, okay? And this represents the Gemini energy in action. This is your ability to get that objective viewpoint of things. This is your ability to rise above. It's kind of typical Gemini fashion, right? For you to rise up above the emotional waters, above the turbulent seas down below, rise up above the storm, and look at life and say, what do I got here? What am I dealing with? Okay, getting that bird's eye view. This is position one. This is the station. This is your kind of your subjective experience. Your subjective experience is trying to get an objective view of things. So it's not so easy. It's not always easy for us to see our lives from the outside, is it? Okay. This is a card of trying not to be just immersed in our feelings, but trying to step aside, look at our lives objectively as kind of, it's almost asking like, if your life were happening to a friend, what would you tell that friend? Okay. If this were happening to somebody else, what would our assessment be? And maybe we're trying to do this. Maybe we're trying to journal this. We're trying to think about this. We're trying to consider that. We're trying to be very honest with ourselves now about something. The Queen of Swords is also looking at the past and understanding why something ended. Okay, so I think we're processing an ending here in an effort to move on, to move forward. Try not to be in the emotions, trying to see it logically, trying to analyze it in that typical Gemini fashion, trying to take things apart so we can understand them and put them back together, right? Your other superpower card is the Lover's card, okay? And that's all about union. That's all about choice. It's all about coming together with what is meant for us. So maybe this card is saying we have to understand why this other thing has gone out of my life because it wasn't meant for me. There was an incompatibility, there was a dissonance, something, right? And so by understanding that, I'll be able to recognize easier, I'll be more equipped to recognize what is meant for me when I see it. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I feel like you're trying to be very objective about your life right now, especially about something that has ended. There's the 10 of Swords. It is an ending. 10 of Swords is us getting out of the birdcage. The 10 of Swords is us realizing that some situation in our life doesn't have any meat on the bones now. There's nothing nourishing there. It's kind of it's a desiccated thing. Okay, we might be rising up above the situation and looking objectively and looking down and thinking, there's no water here at all. Okay, so we're understanding why something had to end and what its meaning is. The meaning here is that something ended because it was limiting you anyway. It was holding you back. This is the Sun in Gemini. Might as well be one of your power cards for you to be able to see something for what it is and say, okay, I know why that should be out of my life. I know why that had to end. Here we have the 5 of Cups. What's in the background but the Wheel of Fortune? And to me, the Wheel of Fortune are these larger cycles in life. The idea that divine timing happens and we don't really get a say, right? We don't have to approve. Spirit doesn't need us to approve of divine timing, and nor are we really required to participate. Things happen that are outside of our control. Somebody else, something else, Spirit is turning the wheel of the universe. not us, right? We can try to co-create, but when things happen, they happen, and we can't turn back time. This can be the wheel of time. We cannot undo what has happened. The wheel keeps turning, okay? And here, we have the Aeon Judgment, a rebirth, a reawakening. Something has ended, something has left your life so that something better can get here. We had to be done with something else, so this doorway to the future will appear. The ending is the beginning, right? A doorway is an exit and also an entrance to some other place, right? Every door has kind of two ways, yeah. There we have the Eight of Cups. We have the Queen, okay, yep, Queen of Cups. We have the Hierophant in the environment. We got a double shot here, look at that, oh my gosh. Double shot happens to be the Lovers and the Seven of Cups. So as I said, the Lovers, right, is the choice. It is your superpower card, your other superpower card. But right now it's covered with some slimy stuff, like you got slimed. You got this ectoplasm on you. It's just, you know, we're kind of hosing that off. So something has been removed from your life that is a toxic thing to you. It's preventing you from having the union with what really truly is meant for you. You got to get out of this birdcage. We're processing an ending here. You're being very emotional over it, more emotional than you think. We're trying to look at it objectively, but really, we're really feeling it. And this might be the way forward for you, is to let yourself feel how you feel about this. Logically speaking, we're saying, well, I'm glad it's gone because it was preventing me from getting blah, blah, blah. I don't want it anywhere. There's nothing there for me. It wasn't meant for me. I'm glad it's gone. Yeah, but we can still feel emotional about it, right? We can still feel sad. We can still feel disappointed. Okay, we don't have to try to be tough and say, well, logically, it wasn't meant for me anyway, so I'm glad. I don't feel anything about it. I'm glad it's gone. Let's admit that we do feel our feelings, okay? And then we have the Five of Pentacles, okay? This is awesome. I think it's your time to sort of clean this toxic thing off and really let your true self shine. You got both of your power cards here. I don't think I've ever had a reading quite like this for you. Both of your power cards. And of course, the position of what we don't want our choice to be diluted by this toxic energy. We don't want to miss the opportunities to unite with what is really meant for us because we're still stuck in a swamp, in a toxic situation. Okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here. We're going to put Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. Even though I can do anything, we're not going to look at that card until the end. That's one thing we won't do, okay? That card will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see major, 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 major. 4 major arcana energies. The Wheel of Fortune saying trust in the cycles, trust in the divine timing. It was serendipitous that this thing is ending when it did because it's going to be time for you to find what is really meant for you. We're going to realize eventually that this is a blessing. This being out of whatever it was that's gone from your life, it's a blessing that it's gone. Okay? Because it was preventing you from uniting with what really is out there for you. Whether we're talking a job, whether we're talking a romance, a relationship, something at school, at home, at work, it doesn't matter. It's this true love. This is perfect union. And we can't have that if we're still stuck in this toxic thing. Okay? So we've got our majors. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We don't have any fire at the moment except for this. This is an initiation into some very active, creative, assertive, confident fire energy. We obviously have water and water and water and water. And we've got our air front and center, 2 air cards front and center. And we've got our earth at the end there. Okay. starting with the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is the birdcage card. Ten of Swords is the pointless energy, right? And so when you have this objective, this subjective experience of objectivity, and it's kind of pointing out that there is no real objectivity. Everything is subjective because we're looking at it. I can try to be as objective as I can, as is humanly possible, but I can't be all that objective. I could try to look at it objectively, and sometimes what that means is unemotionally. I can look at this from outside of my emotional considerations. I can try to look at this logically, practically. I can try to look at this from an outsider, from a detached perspective. And when I look at it from a detached perspective, I kind of think, yeah, this thing was pointless. This thing was limiting me, holding me back. I'm glad it's gone. I trust in the universe. Whatever it was, the universe has removed it from my path, and that's good. That's a good idea, right? That I believe in that. Because the Ten of Swords, obviously, is like it's the birdcage, something that was holding us back, something that was preventing us from really spreading our wings and getting what else is out there for us, what's meant for us. This is the objective recognition that there are no benefits to that thing anymore in my life. If it's gone now, and that's a good thing, right? But what this also kind of does is it denies us the ability to feel how we're really feeling. And so what happens is that we're going to carry around those feelings under the surface, beneath the skin, right? We're going to feel those feelings. Because right now we're trying to look at it and say, I don't care at all. It's almost like we're looking at this and thinking, it's just a dry desert. There's no feelings there at all. I didn't love it. I didn't care about it. Nothing. I don't feel anything, right? But that's not quite true. Because we have water. We have water. We have water. We have water. So we do feel something, but I think we've been trying to stay detached from those feelings. And I think this is a very, very important step to kind of be able to look at something from a kind of an intellectual or logical or practical, objective point of view, a little bit detached, get that bird's eye view and say, yeah, it's gone for a good reason. Okay? We're reasoning, we're rationalizing, we're saying, okay, it's gone, I'm glad it's gone, it's a good thing. But at the same time, I can still feel heartbroken. I can still feel sad. I can still miss it. I can still lament it. I can still, admit that I have this whole range of emotions in me that I really need to process, because if I don't, those are the things that are going to get stuck with me. And then when I find something in life that is really meant for me, I'm not going to be able to feel it. I'm not going to be able to connect with it. Okay? Because I've kind of, I've gone this way and sort of detached myself from those emotions. So the task, the battle position for you is the Ten of Swords, and this is the quest. The quest is for you to, yes, logically, objectively get the bird's eye view and believe that this has happened for a reason. We're processing an ending in a very intellectual way, in a very reasonable way, like we're understanding why something has left our lives, right? Why the forces of the universe have sort of, arranged this outcome wherever we are today, whatever's going on. But at the same time, to kind of go beneath the surface here and see our Five of Cups, at least down here. So yes, the main quest is getting out of this birdcage. Whatever this thing is that has ended or is ending, it's not meant to be in your life, okay? And in that case, it is like you're being freed from that. You're getting out of this birdcage, this thing that was limiting you. But we also need to, as part of the process of the ending, process our feelings. Because if we don't, like I said, it's going to be bad news bears. Thankfully, you've got the Queen of Cups. All of the queens of the tarot are processing the ending of something, right? Queen of Swords, processing it in a very dry, intellectual, logical way. I know why it had to happen. The Queen of Cups, however, is processing the ending in a very emotional way. How does it feel that this has ended? It's kind of like we gotta feel those feelings. We can't stuff them away somewhere. They're going to come back to haunt us later. So what we do, and we can see that even when we go down here to the Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles. We have that connection here that in the future, we will experience dysfunction because we haven't processed these feelings that are under the surface. So we need to process these feelings so that our destiny, our future can be very harmonious and we can unite with that which is meant for us. Which is the same as saying we need to get this toxic energy cleaned off of us. We have to process these feelings, which is basically like filtering the water. You're not just going to drink the well water, right? You're going to filter it first. And then we've got that purified heart. And we're able to move forward and experience love and joy and connection and all this kind of stuff. So underneath the surface is card number 3. It's your soul position. It's something whispering from within your soul, and it's saying, hey, I'm kind of hurt, I'm kind of sad. It's a Five of Cups. All of the fives are Spirit's way of saying, hey, look over here. Look within you and look at your feelings. It's like you're looking down at this thing and you're saying, yep, totally pointless. This was a waste of time. I'm glad it's gone. I don't feel anything for this thing. But Spirit's saying, look a little deeper. Look a little deeper and be able to admit that, yeah, you know what, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm sad that it's gone. I'm confused. I'm kind of heartbroken. I'm a little, I'm disappointed that it didn't work out. The Five of Cups is saying something should be here, but it's not. Okay, so we have this almost bravado that just says, I didn't care about it anyway. I'm glad it's gone. We don't have to be that way. We can say, yeah, I did care about it. I thought it was the one. Or I got my hopes up. And I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling let down. I'm feeling, whatever those emotions are. It's kind of like saying we should try to recognize those emotions. Try to identify them. We can still be detached. We can still be objective. But we don't need to deny the feelings. We don't have to identify with them, though. We don't just say, I am sadness, I am heartbroken and disappointed. We say, no, you know what? I'm looking over there, I see disappointment. I feel a little bit of disappointment in here. I can recognize that, maybe we can name it, but we can still believe that it is something that is separate from me. It's not me, it's not who I am, right? But it's something that I'm experiencing. And it's okay for me to experience that and process it because then I can let it go. I can be purified and I can be ready for what is really good and true and right and destined for me. So even if we believe that this is God must be out of my life for a reason. Spirit knows what it's doing. This is the way things have worked out. This is the serendipity of it all. It's gone, and this is the sort of this is the way the fate kind of rolls out. We can still be aware of how we felt about this thing. Yeah, the Ten of Swords. Is kind of the belief that we're trying to convince ourselves that this whole thing was pointless. And then guess what? If we think, oh, this was pointless, this was a waste of time, are we making ourselves feel worse ultimately? Because now it's like, gosh, I feel like I feel so bad about myself because I wasted all this time on this thing that was pointless. That I put my heart and soul into something, that I was involved with something that was totally like, it was a big nothing burger, right? And now I feel kind of guilty about that. So we have to be careful. We have to be able to say, yeah, you know what? I'm trusting in Spirit that this is gone, but I also feel how I feel. And that brings us over to the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is a card of expansion. It's a card of faith, hope, and trust. And it may be saying that, as the dwarf position or the recent past for you, that you put your faith, your hope, and your trust in something. And we ended up now having an ending. You know what I'm saying? We did what we thought we were supposed to do at the time. We trusted it. We had faith in it. And now it's over. And it makes sense that we would then start to question and wonder and be a little bit emotionally distraught and thinking, wow, I trusted in this and now it's over. Was I wrong to trust in it? Was I wrong to trust in spirit or in the universe or in the process of change or the cycles of the universe? Because now it's over. So I think Spirit's trying to tell you that this wasn't a waste of time, that this wasn't an empty situation devoid of any kind of meaning. You were supposed to go through this. You were supposed to do exactly what you did, and then it was supposed to end. See, the Ten of Swords can be dangerous because we can look at something and say, this was meaningless. This was pointless. I'm a fool for having involved myself with that. Spirit's saying that's the wrong attitude. Spirit is saying that this situation that is now ending had tremendous meaning for you. It meant a lot to you. You were supposed to go through it, and it was supposed to happen the way it did, and it was supposed to end when it did. But for you to try to convince yourself that it was pointless and meaningless, you are robbing yourself of that depth of experience. You're robbing yourself of the meaning. You're robbing yourself of that kind of the sense of purpose, or the sense even like now if we go that route, we're not going to trust in the universe. We're not going to trust our intuition. We're not going to trust in the divine timing. We're going to say, oh no, I've done that before. I'm not doing that again. Spirit wants you to know that there was a major purpose in this. There was a reason why you went through what you did. And how you feel about it now is what you need to process. It was not meaningless. It was not pointless. But it needed to come to a conclusion. And it did. Divine timing has its ways, And we were correct to trust in this. Now, I think that what's going on is this Eon card, Rebirth, Reawakening, the Baptism by Fire. I think that the realization that this ending was necessary because it paved the way to a new beginning. Okay? Divine timing brought you a conclusion to something, and we process the ending how we do, and we are ready, we are equipped, and we're purified, and we go through this doorway to what's next. This is a doorway to the future. Spirit has taken something out of your life to make room for what is supposed to be there. But there was a reason and a meaning. There was a purpose in this one. This wasn't a waste of time. It's part of the process, part of the plan that we're not privy to. We don't understand divine timing, and we don't Spirit. This is the spiritual timepiece. This is Spirit's wristwatch. Okay, we're not always synchronized with the cosmic timepiece. We don't know why things happen when they happen. We just have to assume that it was meant to happen when it did. This was meant to happen, or whatever the past thing was. It was meant to happen when it did, so that it can pave the way and set up the stage, right? The dominoes falling in order to bring you here. This is a moment to shine. This is a moment where you're really going to level up. Maybe we're talking about a work thing. Maybe this is something at school. Maybe it's a personal relationship or a romance. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that had to happen first for this to happen. And this is moving into a future, I think, of love, connection, prosperity, happiness, and abundance. This is a divine doorway. We're going to do a divine doorway oracle card. Oh, it's that one. A distant kiss and a prayer flag. I wish of all wishes that you were here. Through sunlight and rain, I need you near. So it sounds like we're missing somebody, right? It sounds like there's somebody that we still want in our life that's not here now. Okay. And even if we understand why a situation had to end, there can still be things about that situation, that job, that relationship, that period of time in your life that we still miss. Doesn't mean we want to go back there. But we can say, you know what, I can feel those feelings. Through the sunlight and the rain, right? So it's kind of good times and bad times. But for whatever, through whatever course of events, through whatever causal chain, Spirit has taken it from our lives. Okay? I don't know what it was. I'm not getting much of a feeling if it was exactly it was that was going on. Maybe there may be a Taurus person connected to you. I do see this, the Hierophant in the environment here. It may be a Taurus person that we're sort of that we're dealing with. We're dealing with the closure of a relationship, okay, of some kind in some way. But this divine doorway is leading you to the future that you're meant to have. This was, or this past situation, right, was a necessary step on the path to your best life. Now, in the future, position 6, the Imago, here we have Saturn in Pisces. It's the 8 of Cups. This represents the next step for you. The next step for you is healing. The next step for you is to repair your relationship with your feelings. I feel like is there an older male energy in your life, like a father figure? I feel like we're trying to literally repair a relationship. Even if this person has passed, even if we know that we don't want this person in our life anymore, maybe it's an ex, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a relative, family member. It's kind of like saying we need to have the step of healing and forgiveness to repair our own cups, not necessarily repair the relationship itself, but repair our relationship to that scenario. Does that make sense? Because with this card, Spirit's saying that, look, we need to fix our capacity to love. That right now we feel like we're chipped and cracked and broken, and the water just kind of drains right out of it. You ever have a cup that's got holes in it? It's broken, it's whatever, and you fill it up with water, and the water sort of leaks and trickles out. You kind of pretty much got to throw those cups away, right? But this is about us healing to the point where we have that capacity to embrace love and connect, and really to love something deeply and to unite with something. In other words, when we meet with our true love, soulmate kind of situation, now this doesn't have to be romance, but when we meet with that thing that is meant for us, if we don't have a healthy capacity to love, we're not going to really bond with this thing. I'm not going to be able to connect with it or love it the way I should. So part of this work for you right now is to process through your emotions, feel your feelings, and to be able to use that to kind of heal, these cups, to repair these cups. Love is the super glue that holds everything together, right? So love is going to help us to repair our capacity to love. The more we love, the more we're able to love. And, if it's a drinking glass, I don't think you really want to super glue it. I kind of just say I'm throwing it away. I broke a coffee mug the other day, and I didn't try to glue it back together. But when it comes to our emotional body, right, we can heal it. We can repair it. We can super glue it back together, our heart. And we do that through love, through loving more, through being more compassionate and more empathic, to being more accepting, more tolerant, more loving, more grateful, more appreciative. Okay, so that we can heal this capacity to love. And that's the next step for you. That's the way forward for you. Okay? And as far as that male energy goes, I feel like that, I don't know, somebody in your life was kind of telling you or somebody's been very dismissive of your emotions. And I don't know if that's something maybe we learned when we were kids to just kind of stop crying and look at it logically. But your emotions are valid, even if others dismiss them. Okay? Now, talking about the path of the serpent, we're going to get into this emotional energy. We start with the Queen of Cups. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. This is our general energy, the objective view of ourselves, right? And I think that in all honesty, this is how we are trying to perceive ourselves, but this is how we really are. We're trying to say, I don't feel anything. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing here. Pointless, meaningless, no emotions at all. I don't feel a thing. But really, Gemini, we feel a lot. And you're a very sensitive soul. I think you get a you get a kind of a stereotype of being overly intellectual, or kind of the overthinking, overanalyzing person, and people assume that you're not all that deep or not all that sensitive, but you are. You are. And I think this card shows it. This is the depth of water, right? This is really, really deep waters. This is a card of emotional transparency, emotional honesty, radical self-acceptance, radical self-love, radical self-forgiveness. Just radical forgiveness of everything, everybody. Doesn't mean I got to be their best friend. Doesn't mean you're going to get back into a romantic relationship with them. Doesn't mean you want them in your life. You're forgiving them to yourself, for yourself, within yourself. You don't even have to tell them you're forgiving them, you see. It's for your benefit, not theirs. Okay? Or if you want it to be for their benefit too, that's on you, whatever you want to do. But the point is that the forgiveness is what is healing here. And the compassion and the love, the empathy, the self-care, that self-love and self-acceptance. The Queen of Cups is also looking at the past and realizing that this ending it takes time. It's like I'm slowly pulling the Band-Aid off, and I'm feeling every little pinch, every little pull of my hairs. I'm feeling the Band-Aid coming off, and it hurts. And I'm not going to go as fast as I can and just say, okay, throw it away. And I'm not going to try to be so tough and intellectual that I look at it objectively and say, okay, there's no pain there. I'm looking at it like a scientist, right? There's no pain there. There's no emotion there. I'm not feeling anything. I'm just observing, detached like a cold clinical scientist. No, because part of the data, even if you are the clinical scientist, part of the data is how it feels. So we're looking at something scientifically, let's say, and we're thinking, okay, that's what happened, that's what happened, that's what happened. Okay, good, I understand. See, the Queens are all about understanding, right? The endings and things. But you're missing out on a whole set of data, the feelings. It seems obvious now, right? So, we're including that in our assessment of things. Okay, I understand logically that A happened, then B, then C, then D, and all the way down the line, sure. And I also know that, okay, I felt really happy, then I felt really sad, and then I felt this and that and that. This is how I feel now, and let me spend time feeling those feelings, because that's how we heal. That's how we heal the cup, so we have the capacity to love even more. We love and love and love and love. We accept ourselves and all of our feelings. We accept all of the emotional energy as part of the data as we go into try to understand what happened. There's a really deep card here. Okay? You have the really intellectual energy and the really deep emotional energy. And I think it's the perfect combination. As long as we don't keep our feelings kind of stuffed down underneath. Okay? The Hierophant in the environment, I do feel like there's an older male, maybe a Taurus person or an earth sign person that's involved in your life in some way. And it may be kind of indicating that somebody was refusing to change, that somebody was just not willing to have any kind of flexibility or any kind of growth. Okay, and maybe we felt like we were at an impasse with somebody. See, the Hierophant is in the position of your environment, position of your relationships. This is somebody that's very stuck in their ways, and of course these two positions in the Dove and Serpent spread are very intimately connected, because this is something happening in the environment that's triggering this, your disappointment. So it could be that this is somebody's stubbornness, somebody's unwillingness to change, somebody's unwillingness to grow or to be flexible or compromise or come down out of their ivory tower, right? And that was a big disappointment and a realization that, okay, this needs to end. And maybe you're the one that initiated the ending. Maybe this was just kind of the way the cookie crumbled, the way the causal chain of events happened, the way the dominoes fell. But this shows that this person was out there, and maybe they were being very dismissive of your emotions. Maybe that's something that we learned at some other point in our life, that the emotions are inconvenient, right? Maybe to put it mildly. There's some connection with food service here for you. I don't know if you are currently working in food service, or if you did, or if there's maybe something happened in a restaurant, or I don't know, something like that. Okay. But the Hierophant in your environment may be also somebody that was trying to tell you how you should be. And so maybe we had a little bit of that stubbornness too, right? Because this is somebody who, the Hierophant, right, is kind of telling you what is sacred, telling you what is important, trying to school you, okay? Somebody that may have been more of a, felt like it was their place to teach you, when this was supposed to be perhaps maybe it's supposed to be a more equal relationship. Maybe this was a teacher. Okay. I don't know the nature of your relationship with this person. But in a way, this is the person that ultimately has initiated us. Right? So the Hierophant kind of does, initiates us into a new sort of level of awareness. And so whatever happened with this person, I feel like brought you to a profound awakening of life, kind of initiated you into a new realization about the ways of the world kind of thing. Okay? Kind of taught you something that you didn't know before. It feels like an initiation. It doesn't mean it was a pleasant experience by any means, but I think it woke us up to human nature. It showed you wow, this whole type of person, these people are out there. Wow, I had no idea that the world could be like that. It sort of opened our eyes to something, right? Now you have a mother energy that's always very close to you. I think it's some older female that's passed into spirit, but very close to you. Very supportive. It might be a grandmother. I'm kind of feeling a grandmother energy around you, yeah. I think I'm seeing it's a Z, I think. It might be it's a sideways N, but I think it's a Z. It's supposed to be a Z for somebody's name, first or last initial. Yeah. This may be a person that was in your life that felt like they had no boundaries, or that you had no boundaries, or that they had this right to encroach upon your personal space. So maybe they were violating your privacy, maybe they were being too familiar, right? This was somebody that didn't have enough boundaries with you. Yeah, and they felt like they had a right to just get close and kind of get personal with you. Maybe it was a coworker or a boss, maybe it was a teacher or something, and it just felt like they were kind of behaving as if they knew you personally or something like that. And somebody drives a large truck, like a big white pickup truck, yeah? Anyway, this Hierophant in the environment. It's never my favorite position for the Hierophant to be in the environment, right? Because this is energy coming from outside that's trying to school you, that's trying to tell you what's what and who you need to be and how you need to behave and all that stuff. And I also think that it is sometimes I know I said I don't like that card in that position, but sometimes it's useful there. Because again, it opens up our eyes to what's really out there in the world. Okay? It's better to be aware than sort of, blissfully ignorant sometimes. But the next position is the fear, worry, and concern, that we are now stained, tainted, that we are consumed by this toxic energy and that we are becoming toxic. No, we can wash this off. We can forgive. We can let go. We can process. We can hose off this sort of ectoplasm. And we can be our true selves. We can be who we are. We can love, we can be loved, we can find and unite with exactly what is meant for us in life. But the fear is that, this is going to be with us forever. And yeah, I mean, it will be in a certain sense. But we can purify this experience to where we're taking the good stuff and we're leaving behind the residue. We're sort of distilling it, right? We're distilling it. Of course, this is the card of the alchemical wedding, yeah. So I think that we distill this swampy water and we're purifying it. We're taking the good water out of it and we're leaving behind all the impurities, all the junk. Okay, it's kind of like it's a reverse osmosis water filtration system. We're taking the good stuff and we're leaving behind all the guilt, all the shame, all the regret, all the remorse. But we're taking the enlightenment, we're taking the forgiveness, we're taking the self-love, we're using it as a powerful kind of tonic. Okay. And of course, this Gemini card, that means it's your superpower card. And this is the card of choice. We're choosing to love again. We're choosing to unite with what is meant for us. We're choosing to free ourselves from this past situation and understand that Spirit needed me to go through that. I learned something. It opened my eyes to the ways of the world. But I'm ready and willing, and I am capable, and I'm full, right, of this love. And we're ready for that union. So if this was a romantic relationship, well, it wasn't a very positive one. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to be ready and capable to have this kind of soulmate union. It doesn't have to be romance, okay? I can hear the groans, I can feel the eye rolls. It doesn't have to be romance, but it could be. And sometimes it is. For some of you, it will be. For some of you, this will be a family thing. It'll be a job thing. It'll be a coworker. It'll be a friendship. Okay. So all of this sticky water energy from this past thing doesn't have to prevent us from really, in this pure way, uniting with what is really on the other side of this. Now, the Eon card is a decision that has to be made at some point. At some point, we have to make the decision to move forward from this. We have to make the decision to heal. We have to go through this doorway of fire. This is that purifying thing. It's going to burn off all the impurities of this water energy, and it's going to help us to heal. It's going to allow us to close the door on the past and open the door to the future so that we can unite with what is meant for us. And that may be the anxiety here, the worry, is that we won't find what is really out there for us, or that when we do, we won't have the capacity to really fully give ourselves to it and love it the way it needs us to love it, and and to have that kind of that bond, right? The Five of Pentacles to me is a feeling of something's in the works for you. Yeah, Five of Pentacles is a card of change. And I think that this is a card of like we're about to reach this kind of breakthrough. What we're searching for, we're just about to find it. This right now is worry. This is struggle. This is a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are moving around. I think on the other side of this is going to be bliss. On the other side of this is going to be real success and real happiness. Right now, things are moving around. We're in a state of transition. Let's look at the mystery card and see where that transition is taking us, or what else we need to know. Everything is in flux, okay? And so this is us going through that doorway. We're in motion now. Okay? We're in a transitional phase. Let's look at the mystery card, which is position 11, the guide. The voice of the silence within you sometimes represents the direct message from Spirit, kind of shows us either what our future will be, shows us what character qualities we need to develop in order to move into the future. I feel like this is going to be a 6 of something, anything. Or it's going to be the Empress, or it's going to be the High Priestess, or it's going to be the Universe, or it's going to be the Wheel of Fortune, or it's going to be the 9 or 10 of Cups. I think a 9 of Cups would be extraordinary. If you have a prediction, put it down in the comment section underneath the video. Let's see what we have. We have a 5 of Swords. We have the 5 of Swords, we have the 5 of Cups, we have the 5 of Pentacles. A lot of changes, a lot of fluctuations right now. We need to be able to change our mind, change our heart, change our behavior. We need to get right now, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you're going through a process of change. And so we have to be together, as we have to unify ourselves. And that's part of our union here. We have to choose to integrate our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors, align them with spirit, align them with our true self, our true destiny, and let this process of transformation take place. 5, 5, 5. Okay? It's a state of flux. Mentally, emotionally, and physically, we're going through a process of transformation. We're in the middle of it. Things are up in the air. Things are moving around. We have to trust in this process. That on the other side of this, again, this is us walking through this fiery doorway. We're walking through with our body, our heart, and our mind. On the other side of this, we have to believe, we have to trust that it's going to be better circumstances. Okay? Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. Let me know how you are doing. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.